friends, it's Pia. Thank you for clicking on my face. It is officially August, which means that tomorrow is my birthday. And I mean, I don't know if it's tomorrow or today for you because I have no idea when I'm uploading this, but the 9th is the day where I came into the world. You're welcome. So, August is done. August is not done. July is done, and now I am doing the Magical Readathon with lots of other people on the internet. Join in if you're not doing it because it's a lot of fun. So I am here to show you my July wrap-up, and I'm also doing a July haul, so stay tuned if you want to see all of the books that I bought that I shouldn't have. I'm really happy with my purchases, and they were all books that had discounts. So it's fine. But is it really? First of all, my July wrap-up. So yeah, in July I read 7 books, which were the 7 books for the reading rush, because the reading rush saved me from a terrible reading slump. This one was also caused by my thesis. I think it's really funny how a dissertation on literature can make you not want to read. So that's just something for you to think about. So I am eternally grateful to Ariel and Raylene because they made me read a lot of books that some that I didn't enjoy, but I enjoyed reading them and processing them either way. So that's amazing. And they actually made me do this that I'm doing at the moment, which is pretty cool. So thank you. So the first book I read was Shadow and Bone, and I've talked about this on my vlog. So briefly, I'm just gonna say I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It was somewhat entertaining. I didn't love it, definitely didn't love it. I didn't really care for the characters. I was a little bit disappointed because I had really high expectations for it. But I'm still gonna finish the series. I'm planning to read the 2nd book in August, and I'm still really looking forward to reading Six of Crows, the duology. So yeah. Then I read Avatar: The Rift Part 1. I believe I gave this 4 out of 5 stars because Avatar is always good. It wasn't the best Avatar comic ever, but it was entertaining, which is all that I want for my precious little babies. Then I read Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer, and I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. Sometimes I change my mind on ratings, which is normal because you digest the book a little bit better, but this, I'm still really, really glad I picked this up finally. I really want to read the following books in the trilogy. Although I've heard they're very different, both of them have very different tones. But you know, this was amazing. But I did read this for the challenge, for the prompt to read and watch a book to movie adaptation. So if you watched my vlog, you will know that I loved the book, but hated that train wreck of a movie. It was really bad. So I definitely recommend that you read this book. It was really good. It was very suspenseful. You didn't know what was going to happen, and you didn't necessarily care about how the action was going to unfold. It was really about the environment and how tense it was and the meaning that all of those elements carried. So just like in Lost, I personally enjoyed the Lost ending, the Lost finale, because I think it wasn't about how some of the events were going to unfold. It was about the meaning that everything carried. So this was, if you like Lost, if you like The Leftovers, that sort of science fiction sort of story, I highly recommend Annihilation. Then I read Grief is a Thing with Feathers by Max Porter, and I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I maintain it. This was very beautiful, written in poetic prose, very beautiful language, very lyrical. I definitely enjoyed it. There's a lot of beautiful quotes that I just wanted to mark down throughout the book, but it wasn't just like, it didn't necessarily blow my mind. So it was a solid 4 out of 5 stars. So I definitely enjoyed it, but not a 5 out of 5 stars. Then I read the infamous Wicked Fox by Kat Cho. So I have a review up on my channel that you can watch. I will link it down in the description. So I'm not really gonna say that much about it, but I did give it 2 out of 5 stars. I was really disappointed because I thought I was gonna love this book, and I ended up not liking it at all. I don't think I will be picking up the next books in the series, but you never know. It was sort of a middle grade version of a paranormal romance. So yeah, check out my review if you'd like to know more. Not the book for me. Then I read this Raven comic. So this is about Raven, a DC character who is part of the Teen Titans. And I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. It wasn't very good. I didn't particularly care for the take on the character history or this particular story that it's told. I felt like the action kept repeating itself, which it did, but that has to do with its story, but I didn't think it worked that well. So if you're familiar with the character and with DC in general, I don't know if this adds that much to you, if you're gonna enjoy it, but I mean, if you are looking for something to introduce you to Raven, it's an okay story. I know there's better ones out there, but it does have some basic information that is relevant to the character if you want to get to know her better. For example, if you just watch Titans, the show, and you're curious about their background, you could pick this up, but I don't think it's the best introduction to the character. And if you're already introduced to her, it's not very relevant either because you already know enough that this is not very interesting. Then I read the 3rd volume of The Wicked and the Divine, which is one of my favorite comics ever, one of my favorite graphic novels. It is really good, but this 3rd one I only gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It was a little bit disappointing because the first 2 were just, they were amazing. One of the best stories I've ever read in general, not just graphic novel wise. The story is very, very good. If you are slightly, even the slightest interested in mythology and in different pantheons from across the world, I highly recommend it. It is incredible. The story is really good. There's a lot of twists and turns throughout it, but this 3rd one felt a little bit flat. I was expecting more after the way the 2nd one ended. I was expecting so much more. I was expecting the action to pick up and read in a very different way. And the main artist of this graphic novel wasn't available at the time, I believe, so it was done, every issue was done by a different artist, I believe. So there's a lot of very different art styles here that clash with each other and don't really work that well together. And some of them are just plainly not very good. So I was a little bit let down because I'm just such a big fan of this book and I do love the main artist, so. But I still recommend that you pick up the series, and I'm still gonna read the following volume that I already have but I haven't read, and I hope that it's as good as the first 2. I'm terribly sorry for the lighting, but apparently August decided that it's already Halloween season, which I'm not that mad about, but you could at least wait for my birthday to be done. I think this is just plain rude, if you ask me. So that is it for my wrap up. Those are the 7 books that I read last month. So I only had a 5 out of 5, but it was very, very good. But you know, even if I didn't read that many books that I loved, the big win was just that I was able to read all of those books through, which is all that I wanted, honestly. So now for the haul. So last month, well, actually, one of the books arrived in August, but I ordered it in July, so I'm gonna count it. It's fine. One of the books that I got was one that I already talked about, Wicked Fox. I got it specifically to read in July for the reading rush and because it was the bookmarked book of the month. And if people that I know are interested in reading it, even after my recommendation, I will lend it to them. Maybe someone will like it. I don't know. And with that order, I also ordered These Witches Don't Burn by Isabel Sterling, and I still haven't read this. I wasn't able to fit it into my magical readathon prompts, but I really want to read it. I'm still gonna try and read it this month. Maybe I can fit it for something else. I'm just pretty sure I'm gonna like it, but I don't want to jinx it. But I'm really excited about this one. Then I got City of Stairs by Robert Jackson Bennett. and this is science fiction, and I'm also really excited to reading it. It's compared to 3 authors that are just incredible. It's compared to Neil Gaiman, Ursula Le Guin, and China Miéville, so I'm really excited to read this. And I'm also excited to lend it to some of my friends who are also gonna appreciate it. With that book, I also got Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I surprised myself by buying this. Some friends messaged me when I saw like my story, did you just buy a John Green novel? Because people know that I'm not the biggest John Green fan, but I have heard really good things about this. I know that a lot of people with anxiety say that this is a good representation, so I'm looking forward to reading it. And I'm also considering giving other books by him that I didn't like at first another chance, because I might surprise myself reading them now that I'm older. Maybe, which doesn't make a lot of sense. A lot of those books I would have liked younger, and now not that much, but maybe now I'll appreciate the things that make other people like those books. I don't know. I might give them a try. Then I went to the bookstore and they had English books with 30% off. So I mean, is it really my fault that I bought more books? I don't know. I got Lincoln in the Bardo by George Sanders, and this was the winner of the Man Booker Prize in 2017. And I was thinking about getting this for some time now. I mean, and look at the cover, isn't it beautiful? It's really pretty. I was thinking about getting it for some time now, and I was really happy that I found this 30% off. I mean, it was meant to be. I also got The Buried Giant by Kazuo Ishiguro, and I have been meaning to read this for a very long time, ever since it came out. Honestly, I will read any book that has a character with either my name or a derivative of my name in another language. It's not the only reason that I will read a book, but even if I'm not that interested in the premise, I will probably read it just because I don't really get to see my name in books that much. Even the English version, because, so I mean, it would be normal that I didn't see my actual name because it's a Portuguese name, unless I was reading Portuguese literature, but even in Portuguese literature, you don't really see that much. But even the English version, Beatrice, you don't really see it. This is all to say that there's a character named Beatrice here. Actually, my actual name is in an English book. Not English, but written in English. So, I don't know if you've read All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater, but one of the characters' name is Beatriz. Actually, it's supposed to be in Spanish, but still resonates with us in Portugal, with our culture. But the fact that one of the main characters in a YA, in a widely read YA book, had my name. I mean, insert Lizzie McGuire, What Dreams Are Made Of. You get it. And I also got The Miseducation of Cameron Post, which, I mean, I love this so much. I actually have it up on my shelves this way, so it's not the spine that's facing out, it's the beautiful flag. I love it to death, and I'm really excited to read it as well. And then I ordered 2 books to read for August, and these are 2 books that I really want to read this year. One of them is a new release, and the other, I mean, it's also fairly recent. But this one I needed specifically for a specific challenge, but I also wanted to read it very much. And those are Circe and A Sorcery of Thorns. I love them. They are my children. Circe by Madeline Miller. Y'all know, you've probably all read it. It sounds incredible. I really want to I was so scared that it wasn't going to be in the mail on time for me to read it in August, so I'm reading this. I'm also using it for a prompt for the Magical Readathon, but I'm reading this as the book of the month for the Mythtake Readathon because I couldn't get the actual book of the month for this month. But to fulfill that prompt, you're allowed to read a past book of the month. So I picked this up and I'm really excited. And Sorcery of Thorns, I'm reading, I mean, look at it. I'm gonna show you. Isn't it the prettiest thing you've ever seen? I know. So I am reading this for the Magical Readathon as well. I'm really excited. So I'm actually gonna read a fair amount of books that I bought recently this month, which is good because sometimes I will buy a book and I'm really excited to read it and then I don't read it for months and months. It's embarrassing and frustrating. But yeah, so what I'm currently reading, just FYI, is Uprooted by Naomi Novik, and I'm halfway through it. I'm enjoying it, more or less. I am a little bit disappointed, but I'm gonna wait until the end. So I read 7 books in July, but I actually only read them throughout 1 week. For this month, I only need to read 7 books to get my exams to become a librarian. But I am trying to get O's in all of my classes just because why not? So for that I would need to read 9 books. But I do have the entire month. So let's see if I read even more books this month. I am praying for myself. I hope I can. But you know what? If I can, it's fine. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you for bearing with the bad lighting and my gushing / ranting. You are truly lovely. Thank you so much, and I will see you on my next video.